Because the only way to be free and be wherever you want to be, you have to be honest with yourself and honest with your environment. Otherwise, it's not possible to be free. So number one, you have to articulate your care and concern and what you want, and not about what the other person isn't doing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking to explore deeper into intimacy and our emotional connection. And I would wonder if you can partner with me on that, because it's not about what you're not. It's, hey, as life has grown, I'm looking for something different. I need to have a different experience. It's not the person, it's
Hmm.
the construct of how we do what we do. Hey, we may be missionary every day, all day. Okay, nobody eats spaghetti. So let's try something else, and let's go to toy stores. Let's watch things on TV. Let's do these things and create it. But in the midst of that, sharing how it's a win for the other person and how this fosters our relationship to secure our everlasting.
Welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast, where fitness, mindset, and real talk collide. This isn't just about workouts. It's about transforming your body, mind, and life. Get ready for unfiltered conversations, expert advice, and the motivation you need to level up in every way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bomb Life Podcast. I am Melissa Vogel, your host. Welcome to the show. If you are brand new, oh man, did you fall on a good episode to listen to? And if you are a returning listener, welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here. Please, you guys, as always, give a 5-star review. I always forget to say that, so I'm just saying it right up front right now. 5-star review. Make sure you leave a comment. All things are greatly appreciated. Today's episode, it's going to set your soul on fire. And hopefully your heart and everything else down below, because we are talking about sex today and relationships and the importance of it and intimacy and feeling safe. And such good conversation. I talk about sex on here often. If you are a new listener or a returning listener and you haven't gone back and listened to all of the shows, please just like Netflix and binge, but the Bomb Life Podcast. Go back and listen because 1, we have just great information. 2, you get to learn a little bit more about me. 3, there's great information on products, discount codes, like everything. And then 4, you're going to hear all of the topics that will relate to this too. And every time we have a guest on, even if we're talking about kind of the same topic, you learn more information. Every guest shows up differently and has something new to offer and just makes light bulbs go off, starts fire in your soul. And our guest today, Todd Malloy, does that as well. So, oh my God. Okay. First, I have so many housekeeping things to tell you guys. Now, when this episode airs right now, we have just started the Fit Body Method. And if you join this weekend, I will still let you in. So I just wanted to say that because I know we're past the start date. The start date is May 4th and it is May, 7th now. So we're a couple days past, but if you're listening to this going, God, I forgot. I totally forgot. I wanted to do that. Still go to the link in the bio, click and join and get in. We'll get you caught up. Okay. I get it. You know how many times that's happened to me before? Like, I totally get it. But also, like, if you were on the fence and you're like, oh, shoot, well, I missed that start date and I can't do it. No, you can. I'm going to take that excuse away from you right now. Get in. It is an experience that's going to change your life and your body. And you guys, it's $2 a day. I'm not even joking. $2 a day. And we're going to transform you before summer. The Fit Body Method. So go to the link. You'll find information. If you have other information and you're still on the fence, like, let me know. But I'm taking away, I don't have the money. I'm taking that away. I'm totally taking that excuse away. You can't use it. What other excuse do you have? Give it to me. Okay. If you have questions, concerns, or you're like, I want to do this, but then I want to do something else, like go to the link. I always put my link to my Calendly in there and you can click and book a call with me. All right. Okay. Let's dive into today's episode. It's a little bit longer, but you won't even know. Today we have Todd Malloy on, and Todd is a psychotherapist, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and a certified sex therapist. Okay. And he helps people move from self-survival to self-reclamation. And some people don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they've learned how to survive too well. And our guest today knows that story all too personally. And you can also have this happen in your relationship too, and with sex and intimacy, and you get burned out, or you never even learn and grew from the beginning. This episode is for singles. It is for if you are married, if you are dating, it doesn't matter. You need to know and learn this information. Todd Malloy grew up carrying adult responsibility early, and he succeeded in a corporate career that looked right on paper. And he still felt deeply misaligned inside. And today he's a psychotherapist, like I said, licensed marriage family therapist, sex therapist, and he helps so many people just move from that survival mode to self-reclamation and in the bedroom. And this conversation, Todd breaks down like why intimacy is so important. How do you change things if you're on one level but your partner's on another? How does emotional safety impact women's sex drive? Like, how do you create these changes? What can you do to change things today? It's amazing. So I want you all to listen to this. And then if you have a partner in your life, I want you to pass it on to them and be like, I need you to listen to this too, because it's such good information for men and women both. We both need to hear this message. And I am here to be the voice and to ask all the hard questions for you. All right, everyone, go to the show notes, check him out, check out the links, join the Fit Body Method, and enjoy the show. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Bomb Life podcast. Today, we have Todd Malloy on. Welcome to the show, Todd.
Oh, thank you. Hello, Melissa. How are you?
I'm excited to have you on.
Thank you.
We get to talk about, I don't know, just everything, sex, growth, relationships, intimacy. And you're the perfect man for this because you're a psychotherapist, correct?
Yes, correct.
And a licensed marriage and family therapist, a certified sex therapist, and just an overall sexuality educator.
Correct. I'm basically the quintessential nerd.
I love it. I love your type of nerd.
Thank you.
And I will totally nerd out with you. So I got to ask first, like about just your story and your background. It's my favorite question to ask our guests because it kind of just lays the platform, or the foundation of like how you got into this. Why did you go into sex therapy and marriage and family? Like, how did this become what you do and specialize in?
When I was a kid, I grew up in a marginalized community. I'm African-American. My mother had my parents were married when I was born. However, my father didn't stick around. So I was raised by a single mother with two sons in the 60s and a socioeconomic situation that was stressful. So in the midst of that taught me how fragile life was. And I decided that I chose to be a part of the solution as opposed to part of the problem. I really just wanted to dedicate my life to helping people. But in the midst of helping people, you get distracted. However, I've always wanted to be a therapist. And then when I was 17 years old, I was going to a Catholic private school, which I paid for. Because when I was in the public high school, I shared with my mother, I'm going to get caught into the neighborhood and get sucked into a lot of things that probably wouldn't be the best for me. So I said, I'd go to work, I'll do whatever I need to do, but I need to go to somewhere else. So I facilitated getting a part-time job to go to school to kind of pay my way through high school so I could have a different experience. In the midst of that, they took me to University of Connecticut Medical School, like career day. What do you want to do? And I went there, gentlemen, I was standing up front just as excited and happy as I wanted to be as a kid. I'm seeing my dreams come true. And there's this guy looking like Clark Kent standing there with the glasses, the slick hair, the white coat. He said, I'm standing up front. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a psychiatrist. He said, you have 12 more years of school. And I dropped my head because I said, wait a minute, I don't know where to get 12 years of that kind of money from.
Yeah.
To do this. So I kind of sabotaged myself in that moment. And actually ended up, because my uncle was a draftsman for an engineering company. I was good in math and science. He said, hey, why don't you go get an engineering degree? And that'll only take 4 years. And then you can do what you want to do. And then my naive self said yes. So then, but however, the joke was on me because it ended up taking 10 years to get a 4-year degree I didn't want. So I ended up graduating from a college with a degree I didn't want. And actually on my graduation, they cried because I was successful at doing what I didn't want to do. And it actually took me till about 42 to actually give myself permission to be who I wanted to be because I was actually raising my kids not to be me. Then I recognized the hypocrisy of it because I'm starting to get mad at my kids and I want to discipline them. But then I said, why are you disciplining them for being who you wanted them to be and who you raised them to be? Then I had to check myself. But in the midst of that, as I was a kid and sex and all of those things, I really wanted to be a porn star when I was a kid.
I love it.
I wanted to maybe a porn star, make a porn movie, but then I recognized that was probably shame my mama. Then when I got the opportunity to meet a woman by the name of Sally Foley, who was the head of the sexual education or sex therapy training program at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, I met her and she changed my life. And she introduced me to sex therapy. It registered greatly with me. I said, now I can legitimize my desire for intimacy and sex. So don't shame my mama. I can put some letters behind it and I can make a vocation.
Oh,
So here I am.
so I love that. I love it. No shame in the mama, that's for sure. I'm from Michigan, Todd.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Where?
Saginaw.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent. You're from
Saginaw.
Draymond Green is from Saginaw, Michigan.
Saginaw, Michigan.
So, but you don't live there now because those winters are rough.
I do not, and you can't pay me enough to go back. I'm in California now, so I went like as far as you could go.
Exactly. No, it's a beautiful place, but the winters are rough.
It's rough. Yeah, it's definitely rough. So for those of us, those listening, can you explain just real quickly, like, what is a sex therapist? What does that look like? What do you help with? Because I'm sure there are people listening going, like, what exactly do you help with and talk with people, or do you show them? I'm sure there's people that don't have any idea what you do.
So first and foremost, I don't touch people. So even if I show you something, I won't be touching you,
right,
or will we be undressed?
Right.
No, but we have to look at sex as just another medium to see through our lives. It's a piece to a puzzle. It's not the whole thing. For example, research shows when sex is good in your life, it's only 25%. But when it's bad, it could be up to 85% of the problem.
Wow.
Right. Think about this. When we come to intimacy, no one wants to talk about it. It's like a taboo subject. So how do you ever feel comfortable in something that makes it seem tawdry? I have women that saying, hey, my mother tells me all the things that I shouldn't do before getting married. Then when it's time to get married, my husband wants me to swing on a chandelier, but I keep hearing my mother's voice in my mind that good girls don't do this.
Yeah.
So what I help do is normalize it and allow it to show how it's a piece to a puzzle. We're all a system. Our relationship isn't just a system. We're a system within ourselves. And we have pieces and parts, and we need to understand our body so we can show up for ourselves the best way possible.
Yeah.
Because if we don't understand our bodies and show up, then we're actually setting ourselves up to be pinatas for other people. Because if I don't understand my body and I can't teach you how to care for me, you're asking the other person to take 3 shots of Jack, spin around in a circle and hit a bullseye.
Right.
Because everybody owns their own orgasm. Nobody creates that for you. It's your ability to relax your body. It's your ability to feel emotionally safe and secure that will facilitate that process.
Todd, you need that on a t-shirt. You own your own orgasm. How do we get that printed on a sweatshirt? But it's true. And, people are just not having conversations like this.
Exactly.
And
but yet want to do it all day, every day, but don't want to talk about it.
Right. And I have lists of questions from people that, because I was telling you before the show, I always ask people, my clients, one-on-one clients, people out there, social media, like, hey, I have this guest coming on. This is going to be the topic. What are the questions you have? So I have all these questions and I'm like, you know what? 90% of them would be answered with just talking with your partner too.
Correct.
You hold the answers in your relationship, but Todd, even for women, when they get together, it's so crazy when I talk one-on-one with a client, because I dive into all areas of life. I'm like, oh yeah, we're talking sex, we're talking relationship, we're talking like how many reps and sets you're doing at the gym. Like we're talking everything because that all impacts your journey.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
And we start talking. I'm like, oh, how many times a week are you having sex? What's that look like? Like, come on, let's have a real conversation around this. And they're like, oh my God, it's so hard for them to open up in the beginning. But they're like, I can't talk about this with my girlfriends. Like, we don't sit around and talk about things like this. And I'm like, man, the shame and just hiding.
Exactly. It's not necessary. But again, it's because, remember, nobody really teaches us how to live. We're only taught to be students, professional, law enforcement, military personnel. After that, you got parts, I got parts, let's throw it together, hope for the best.
Right.
But I would have to remind men that the prophet Tupac said, tell daddy how you want it. Daddy never said how to give it. Ask questions. Make yourself relevant in your own situation, because if you don't ask questions, you're using an old equation and a new experience. You're irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be such a beautiful, large part
Oh,
of.
most definitely. It's a quality, believe it or not. Remember, intimacy, sex is a quality of life issue. It's not an act. It's about quality of life and it releases anxiety, depression, increases dopamine, all of these good things. It creates a bonding. Think about it this way. It's intimately, when we're together, it's like a mother breastfeeding a child.
Right.
That same bonding between mother and child is happening between partners when they're intimate. And then the more emotionally safe and secure you feel with that partner, the greater the outer body experience. We will orgasm and ejaculate just because of nerve endings moving.
Hmm.
But the outer body God experience that people are looking for is a result of the emotional connection that is acquired through transparency, vulnerability, and honesty, which equals emotional safety, which equals trust. With that, now we can connect to universal God forces and have the outer body experience. But without the emotional connection, a willingness to be transparent, vulnerable, and communicate, share your wants, desires, needs, even by watching TV. You see something you like on TV. You say, hey, let's have a discussion. Like, hey, what do you think about what we just saw?
Hmm.
That to introduce it's a soft start. So as you're moving through life, hey, I had a thought, I had a question, but then actually pursue it. Because
Right.
again, how can I be naked and unashamed, but not naked and unashamed? If I'm going to take my clothes off and I'm trying to hide myself at the same time, how comfortable can I be? As opposed to just say, hey, love me or leave me alone.
Right. Oh my God, Todd, you have no idea how many women, how many times I hear that they have sex with the lights off, they have sex with clothes still on because
And
they're
you know how,
shamed.
as a guy, do you have a guy, do you know how distracting that is? Because when we accept you, we accept you. And I will share this. I often say this. You know, you may not know, but sometimes women have the thing, do you think I've gained weight? Or no, when you give them a compliment, they reject the compliment. And I have to share, I said, why do you want to mess up your man's vision? Because when he's telling you he likes what he sees and you're telling him not, it's almost like you're pushing him away to somebody else.
Yeah.
So when we accept you, we accept you. We want to see you. We want to see the glow in your eyes. We want to see the smile on your face. We want all of it because all of it, we're accepting you as a whole person. But we can't do that if you won't allow us.
Mm-mm.
And then when you don't, we feel the rejection, then we act out. Then here we go. We have this cycle,
Right.
an unnecessary cycle.
Yeah. Well, and I think so many women, and it's an epidemic, and this goes into so many different layers and areas, but like so many women, we can't accept that. We have a really hard time that man doesn't see the cellulite and the fat that we see in the mirror. They don't, and you guys don't. You don't see our imperfections like we do, and then it's
I
so
love
hard. And that goes back to a whole like self-love and
Right. And what you
starting with
experience
us.
as a what you experience as a child and identify your own self value,
Yep.
your own self worth.
Yep. All of it.
And then if you're parented through shame and guilt and you always feel judged, how can now that it's almost like the faintly familiar feeling. When you're a kid, you're in an incubator for so long
Hmm.
that now even though I'm removed from the incubator, my mind won't let me leave
Yeah.
because I create situations to create the same feeling. So I self-sabotage my happiness and my joy.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%. And you had mentioned something like this before, or a little bit earlier too, of like, women are told to be the good girl, like,
Mhm.
don't masturbate, don't touch yourself. Like, that's disgusting. Like, what are you
Right,
going to do?
right.
And then bringing religion into it, and like, you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Todd, you have to watch this movie. I just saw
Okay.
this. It's on, I think it's Prime, and it's
Mhm.
it's Yes, God, Yes.
Okay, I saw it advertised, but I didn't know what it was about.
You have to watch it. I just randomly like started watching
Mhm.
it. Did you watch the show? Oh my God, the big one on Netflix that all the teenagers are watching, Scary Things,
Oh,
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. I'm familiar with it, but I've never
Okay,
watched
okay. So the older sister in that show, and I'm just
it.
bringing
Mhm.
this up so our listeners know
Mhm.
too, like because they'll be like, oh yeah, I know her. The oldest sister in there is the star of the show called Yes, God, Yes. And it's all about this Catholic girl that is, I think she's a junior or a senior in high school. And there's a rumor that started that she tossed this boy's salad. And she's just like
Mhm.
this good girl, doesn't know much, but she's starting to get like feelings and like very curious about sex and everything. And then she
Mhm.
goes away to this camp. This church has this camp and they talk about these things and explore and like how you will go to hell, and
Oh,
touching yourself is bad and sex is even worse until you're married and then all this stuff happens. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, that's like my
right.
childhood. Like,
Right, and those are the messages that are running through
yes,
you now as you're moving through life,
yes.
and that's not fair. I always share and I'm familiar with the mindset. I've been to seminary school, I've been a pastor, so I'm familiar with that dynamic. But what I share with people, your private parts aren't supposed to be private to you.
Right.
Right. The mere fact that they're yours, you should be familiar with them. You should understand it.
Hmm.
But for later use for by you or someone else, at least you can teach them how to care for you appropriately. If we think about it this way, everything we buy in life has instructions, and we read the instructions for the best care. But if we don't take the time to learn ourselves and teach, we will set ourselves up to be mishandled. We'll set ourselves up to be disappointed and our partners to fail.
Yeah.
But that's a self-sabotage that we support, but we don't have to do. It's
Right.
just about learning ourselves well enough to teach someone and recognize I don't have to apologize for enjoying my life the way I see fit because nobody else is asking me permission to live. So why do you care?
Mm, amen. Amen to that. Well, and so many like I have questions from women, I have questions
Hmm.
from men, and like one of the questions from the women, I know a lot of women will want to know the answer to this, which we're already like talking about and giving the answer is how do I get out of my head during sex? Like,
Well, yeah,
oh
no,
girl.
exactly. Intimacy is neck up, not waist down.
Yeah.
So it's biopsychosocial. So if I'm clogged up and I'm thinking about sex, it minimizes, reduces the arousal process.
Yeah.
So basically, it's really about relaxing the environment. Even though men are C1 have, we want you to just jump out the shower, we just want to party. Women need the environment, creating staging the environment. They want atmosphere. To some degree, the best way to say it is women are looking for afterglow to want sex. Men are looking for sex to experience an afterglow.
Mm.
Therein lies the complexity. So this is why I share with men, when you meet a woman, you buy flowers, you take her to dinner, you say nice stuff. But as the relationship is growing and things are changing and you bring your children in, it's taking things off of her list, her to-do list, because women lack erotic focus. They're focused on body image, the to-do list for the children, the to-do list for the house. If they have a job, they have to do all of these things.
Hmm.
So as a man, foreplay changes and you have to slow their brain down by taking things off their plate. But nobody tells us this. Women don't share it. Men don't ask. So then they use somebody like me that have to come in when they have issues. Then I'll say, hey, why don't we do it this way?
Yeah.
It's to turn these internal conversations we have oftentimes that we never share. We don't want to share it because we don't want to hurt someone's feeling. We don't want to make them uncomfortable.
Hmm.
But what that is putting a band-aid for something to be sabotaged later.
Yeah.
You're eroding the relationship internally. So instead of avoiding the issue, it'd be better to talk about the elephant in the room because if it gets too big, nobody's going to be in the room.
Yep. Yep. You said such a good point of like, no one's asking these questions. No one's talking about them. Like, it's
Right.
crazy.
When I was a pastor, I used to talk about sex and money, and the church used to get upset or uncomfortable. And I said, I tell you what, sex and money is what people want most. If we can't talk about it in the church, let's go out in the park.
Right.
No, but at some point we have to talk about these things. If we want
Yes.
them to get better, if
Yeah.
we really want someone to understand us, it's time out for you're just supposed to know. It's time out for reading tea leaves. If I'm here and I want something from you, I should be able to be naked, understand and free enough with you to share whatever is in my mind. Whether you like it or not, I should be safe enough to not feel judged and you give me a real answer.
Yeah.
But that should be the relationship.
Right. It should be. That should be.
Right. But if it isn't, then you have to ask yourself, are you in the right place with the right person? Or are you failing your own self by not honoring your own truth? Because we show up as a representative.
Yeah.
My job is to kill the representative. Because at which point we show up with a representative, they accept the representative. Therefore, the representative can only last 18 to 24 months. After that, you switch. But meanwhile, you're ending up in a relationship with a person that's looking for you to be who you used to be, and they're waiting for that person to come back.
Yikes.
But they don't. But then I have to remind that person's not coming back.
Mm-mm.
Now you know the real person.
Mm-hmm.
But also from the flip side, not just what is it, gaslighting someone else, but but the person that shows up with the representative, the challenge for them is you never know if you're truly accepted. So now, even though you're in the relationship, you don't feel emotionally safe and secure. Why? Because there are parts of yourself you don't want to show the other person. So when you're in a relationship where you should be naked and unashamed, it doesn't just mean literally, but it means figuratively, spiritually, emotionally, verbally. But if you're not willing to do that, how do you ever find your own acceptance?
Right. Right.
So therefore, the representative should just be show up because we are who we are no matter where we are. Hey, I may not be the doctor I want to be, but I'm on that path and view me on the path as opposed to being perfect in a moment because my life is a life. For example, you being a fitness person, it's probably, and I'm taking a big step of faith here. But when people say, "Hey, I want to be fit for my class reunion or whatever the case may be," that's cute. But if you really want to, it's a way of life. It's not for a moment.
Yep.
No, what it is, it's an incremental approach to the moment. I'm 63 years old. I'm 6'5", 233 pounds as of this morning. And my athletic build. Why? But I started my journey about health and being a whole person at 42 years old. And I've had a regimen from 42 to 63 that
Wow.
facilitates me probably being the healthiest I've ever been in life.
Yes.
But it's a way of life. It's a mindset. I'm not shooting for a day because if I
Right.
focus just my way of life, the body will take care of itself.
Right. Yeah. It reminds me like what I was saying earlier about how, I'll get people that come to me and they're like, I just need to lose like the 20 pounds and like whatever.
Mm,
And they don't want to talk about, well, what are you truly eating? What are your relationships like? How toxic is this? How much sex are you
exactly.
having? I mean, it goes into everything.
Exactly.
And, how safe do you feel? Safety is so important, especially for women to feel safe. One, in your body to actually allow the fat to come off.
Come on. Come on.
It's so
Yeah,
true.
because if not, the cortisol will be there. Then it absorbs, turns it into fat, and the fat don't go away.
Yes, yes. And I'm divorced. I was married for 17 years. I left that marriage. And so I was thrown into the dating world with 3 kids. Haven't dated in 20 years, and now here I am. And I had to really learn, what do I want in a man? What is
Exactly.
important to me? What was I not feeling then? And I learned firsthand how important feeling safe is, not only for me to just
Excellent.
thrive, but also for my sex life. And like, holy crap, that really does play a big role in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've said that word several times now, but I'm so glad that you brought up too about how that changes, once
Oh,
you are married and have kids. And like, it's sexy as hell to come home and the man like did some dishes and cleaned up, and you're like, oh my God, I can just relax. I don't have to do that.
exactly. Now, and then what that does is slows a woman's brain down
Mhm.
to go ahead. You take care of, you take a shower, read a book, do whatever. So by the time he comes to bed, you're like, hey, I got time for you too.
Exactly.
Because now you've allowed me to restore myself. I feel valued. I feel appreciated. I feel seen. I feel heard. What can I do for you?
Right. And that answers the question, how do you get out of your head during sex? That is your answer,
Yes, to get out of your head and by sharing whatever your concerns are. I even share, I'm over 50, obviously, I've already shared that. And you have different things happen during those moments.
Mhm.
And now in very humbling moments, I always share with men, communicate the issue. So now here it is in my life. And now it showed up in my own personal life. Now I had to see if I could let the theory actually work in practice. However, it was amazing that it does. Because no matter how you feel, no matter what anxiety you have, if you actually speak to it, it dissipates. So if you're with a new person, you say, you know what? I'm with it here. I know we're in a situation I'm very comfortable with. I choose to be here, but I feel like a virgin because we haven't been together. So I
Right.
like to go slow and just be intentional about what we're doing as opposed to a year. Do you know how settling that would be for yourself and the other person? Because they probably feel in the same way.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. And if they're a dick about it, they can't. You probably should run anyways.
Right.
That's
Because
not someone to pursue.
right, exactly. Because if I share that and we both take the exhale, now we can explore and it'll create a world of its own. It'll
Yeah.
take, because now we're not anxious. We're not
Mhm.
worried about performing. We're not worried about any of the things. It's about sharing, enjoying, and appreciating each other.
Yeah. Hey, Bomb Life fam, I have a question for you. Are you the kind of person who crushes it at work, shows up for your family, checks off every to-do list, but when it comes to your fitness, your energy, and your confidence, it feels like something's missing? You might be doing the workouts, listening to all the right podcasts. I mean, you are listening to this one. But deep down, you know you're just kind of going through the motions and you're done playing small in this area of life. That's exactly why I created Fit Mind Coaching, my private one-on-one program for high-achieving women and men who are ready to level up. This isn't just another fitness plan. This is about building the body and the mindset to match the life you're working so damn hard for. Because success in business means nothing if you're hiding in hoodies, avoiding mirrors, or dragging through your day with zero energy, or showing up on Zoom meetings feeling good from the chest up, but praying no one ever sees what's going on below the screen. We're talking about fat loss, muscle building, and real confidence that bleeds into every area of your life, your boardroom, your bedroom, and your parenting. You want it all? Good. You should have it all. Let's go. Click the link in the show notes and book your free call with me today. Let's build the strongest, most confident version of you inside and out. You're ready for more, and I'm ready to show you how. Back to the show. Yeah. One of the questions was someone was asking, like, I think it was a guy, what makes someone like magnetic in the bedroom? And everything that we're saying right now is that answer.
Right. You know what? You hear me? Back in 2012, I had the benefit of going to Austin to see a friend of mine. And in the airport, I saw Maxim magazine. It's a adult men's magazine.
Yep.
And it had lesbian lovemaking. I was intrigued. I'm like, okay, it's a men's magazine, but we got lesbian lovemaking. It don't make sense. So I'm going to buy it, So I bought it. And what it did was explain how a woman makes love to a woman. And they did it and put it in the article for men to learn and actually glean from the article. So that's what I did. I actually read the article, obviously the nature of what I do. I applied the theory when I got home. My then wife, now I'm also divorced, my then wife probably still remembers that day. And she reminds me of it because anytime I say, 2012 in August, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because I applied what I've learned. And what I learned is it's a full body experience, not just a mission. It's an exploration. Because scientifically, the largest sex organ is the skin. So why are we just focused on the pelvic region? So if I actually slow down and explore from head to toe, left to right, up to down, sunny side up and around, and allow the heightened sense of arousal happen, who knows what could happen.
What if we have someone listening right now, which I'm sure we do, and it could be a female listening or a male, it could be applied both. And what if someone's listening to this going, yes, that, okay, I'm all open to that, this, I want more of this, but they're like, I know my partner's not. Like, what if your level of intimacy or sex drive doesn't match with your partner, and they're listening right now going, this is great, but I don't think I could get her to do that. Or I try to go home, but he's always tired.
Well, first and foremost, I would say, don't let your perception be the other person's truth.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
So why are you thinking and talking and speaking for someone that's right next to you?
Damn.
Why don't you turn it into a conversation? How might that be your own fear of yourself and you projecting your own uncomfortability of that conversation, and you're projecting and making it the other person's problem when you never talk to them to confirm? That's the number one start.
Yeah, that's step
now,
one.
Once you get to past that point, you actually have the conversation. And what it is that you're expressing what you want, but not just expressing what you want, but the why.
Oh, yeah.
And the priority that it does and what it creates for you and what that person has an opportunity to create for you that they get to share in, that fosters a bonding and a stronger connection between the two. So most people, that even have a fitness person, there are a number of fitness people out there, but your pitch, your brand, your why, your story resonates with the person, and then they're drawn more to you.
Right.
So as I'm revealing my intimate self, as I'm being naked and unashamed verbally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we're actually bonding closer and closer together to make the connection when we do come together, that out-of-body experience. Because I am emotionally safe. I feel secure. I feel heard. I feel valued. I feel appreciated. So there are no limits at that. Because all the walls and the barriers and, I can't turn the lights off. I can't see we don't care about those things because it's bigger than the moment. It's an experience, not a mission. It's like not the tyranny of the orgasm. Men are so focused on the orgasm that they don't focus on the experience. Women want the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And even research shows that all women don't have to have orgasms every time to have a pleasurable sexual experience. But the guys always focused on, well, I got to make sure. No, how about just enjoying the experience, understanding what's going on in your body? Because people fail to recognize good intimacy is you being self-aware of yourself. Hey, instead of giving somebody directions on what to do, why don't you shift your own hips to the left or the right? You know where you want to be.
Yeah. Yep. Help me get this message across to women too, Todd, because I hear this a lot. Men are so, and this is in my experience, this is also like what other women tell me. Men are very touchy. Like they want to grab your butt. They want to grab your boob. You know, they paw at you, like you said earlier, like I'm not sure. They want to paw at you. And women take that. And I think it's probably lack of education. Like no one taught us anything, but women take it as like, oh my God, you just see me as, you know, tits and ass. And like you just see me as an object. And you always, it's just about sex for you, isn't it? And I hear women say this all the time. He's always grabbing my boob. He's always grabbing my butt. He's not, and I'm always like, you have to realize that men are different creatures than us and they are driven differently. And I'm not going to speak for men because I'm not a man. I'm going to let you speak on it. But that's kind of the message I'm trying to get to them and get them to understand. And they also love you. If we took that away from you, Karen, tomorrow, you'd be very sad that your husband's not touching and after you anymore. So remember that.
Very,
but
very, very much so.
help me get that message across and like get women to understand this.
Well, to your point, men and women are different. It really boils down to stop allowing your perception of what he's doing be his truth. Ask why it's important. Ask why it's significant. It's the why you want to know about.
Yes.
Hey, men are touchy-feely. Men are visual creatures.
Yep.
Men are designed or bred to be hunters. We hunt, we capture, we do these things. So you're our prey.
Yeah.
You're our gift. And remember, men can't get to afterglow, to the sex, to rest, the anxious, the depression, without going through the path of sex. That's a big piece to the puzzle. Yes, you can have multiple coping mechanisms, but naturally, organically, it's sex. At least when you're a teenager and up, and then as life changes, things change. But we're hunters by nature. So it's not just grabbing and poking to objectify. It's because that's that connection another way, the best way to say this is, men will never ask for a smack on the tail or flowers, but they will never reject any of them. Why? Because men are just as emotional and want emotional connection as women. We just can't tell you because you won't respect us and you think we're weak. So, but therefore, that's a form of our being, by you making yourself available, that's a way of us feeling that we're wanted, we're accepted, we're desired. Because I hear a lot where men are saying women don't initiate. And then women say, well, men don't want women to initiate. Yes, we do. Because if we're always pursuing you, how do we really know you want us? Because sometimes when we're with you, we can tell the difference.
Yeah, that's important.
We do know when you want to be there and when you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even it's not just for the ejaculation. Men can tell. And without you pursuing us and showing us that we're wanted and desired, how do we know that? So what they see is pulling its prod, and that's our emotional communication. Because again, we learned sex in the locker room where no women were around. So, I always say, hey, that's the problem, man. We're all in the locker room talking about sex, but the one thing, there's no woman here to validate what everybody's saying. And we all know these young men lie when we're in the locker room.
Right. So you're just learning off of lies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lies and fibs and tales.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's just so important to have these conversations and remind men and women of this. And women, we need to be initiating too. Like you hit the nail on the head. Like men need it just as much.
Oh, very much so. Then by having the conversation, then we can level set the high performers, low performers, because now we're having conversation and we're finding that sweet spot. We share, anytime you meet a person, whatever your definition of manhood, womanhood, or relationships are, all needs to be blown up. Why? Because neither one of you were around when your boxes were made. So therefore, they do not include the other person. Hey, if I just met you today. So therefore, if we were pursuing one another, whatever I think about manhood, womanhood, and relationships, I have to understand you first. So when I show up as the man I am, it's at a frequency you understand.
Yeah.
So that means that I have to be open to learning you, to understand you, understand what's important, and how I show my value to you if I step outside of my comfort zone to meet you where you need to be met. Because if I'm not willing to step out of my comfort zone, I don't really want you. I want you to conform to me.
Right. Right. Yeah. And all of this, in order for me to communicate that, like, I have to know what I want and what I'm made
Exactly.
out of. Because I
Exactly.
can't tell you and you can't know unless I know. And man, having to start over and really learn the dating world and what I had to communicate, I learned I have to be very, very clear, because I can't come
Exactly.
across as like the boss babe. Like, I can come across
Mhm.
as very masculine in some areas. And I had to make sure I communicated very well that, like, look, I want that masculine rule. Like, you're going to have to be man enough to be the rock and hold me because I don't want to be in my masculine. I want to be in my feminine. And I know sometimes I can
Exactly.
appear differently, like, oh, she just wants to be the boss babe, wear the pants in a relationship. I don't. I really don't. I want to feel safe. I want to let my guard down. I want to feel and be like a little girl.
Mhm.
I've heard that before. Like,
I
you
hear
know,
that a lot.
a woman feels safe when she actually acts more childish and more like a little girl. And I want to, I had to learn that I wanted to be dominated. I don't want to be in that role. And that was important to me. And
Mm-hmm.
if a man couldn't step up on the outside and in other ways, I was like, I don't know if there's going to be a way he's going to do that in the bedroom either. But
Right.
I had to learn this about myself. And that's what I wanted first.
But that means that also means when I'm looking for someone, you have to already display a emotional safety, your own personal emotional safety and security.
Yeah.
You have to be connected to and own your own emotion. Because
Hmm.
the man that's secure doesn't have an issue with the woman that shows up with masculine energy at time. Because as long as he
Right.
shows up as a man, that woman will surrender.
Yep.
One of my fantasy girlfriend is Jill Scott, the singer Jill Scott. And she said who I believe is personifies femininity in an excellent way. She's strong, she's powerful, but she's soft and delicate at the same time. In Tai Chi, they would say iron wrapped with cotton.
Mm.
And but she said, if you're a man that can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. But if you're not, you can't. But if you're a man who shows up and you're steadfast and you're consistent in who you are and how you care for me, you can say what you need to say because I'll surrender because you've demonstrated you've earned that position.
Yes.
But if you're inconsistent, you need not apply.
Mm-mm. Step away.
No, exactly. But it begins with your own self-awareness.
Yeah.
And then giving yourself permission to share your truth.
Hmm.
And then if they don't want your truth, they don't want you, and you should be okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you can help me with this, because I know I got a couple questions about this. And, we have a lot of single people dating, married, long-term, short. We have a variety on here.
Mhm.
But I would say probably a lot of people are probably married and in a relationship, but probably
Mhm.
long-term. And they're always looking, how do we go next level?
Mhm.
How do we explore this without getting dangerous? Or, like,
Mhm.
some people want to go to a strip club or like a lifestyle
Mhm.
club, or like, how do we do more and always explore that but not go too far? I think a
Now,
lot of people worry about ruining their relationship, but
so,
we know we need to change things up.
right, we need to change things up, but in changing things up, how secure are we with each other?
Yeah.
So before we begin to explore, are we sure that we've dealt with all of our issues and we can both come from a place of giving each other the benefit of the doubt?
Ooh, yeah.
Because if the foundation, think about this, if we're together, we're a real relationship and we're going to build a system up above us. That means we have to be in lockstep in order for it to solve. So if we're going to build, this has to be solid.
Hmm.
But if this is not solid, I wouldn't encourage it because that's going to open the door to confusion. One of the things I work in, obviously, the sex community with alternative lifestyles, etc. And one personally, I'm just speaking personally, I don't think one's any better than the other. Because what I noticed in all of them, if you don't have character, if the person you're with doesn't have character, they're going to violate the rules no matter what game you're playing.
So true. So true.
So it's just important that we understand ourselves and make sure the other person understands themselves and we teach them how to care for us.
Hmm.
And then in that and sharing our whys and having that open communication, then we can build and we can add whatever. Because after a while, when when I first got married, we waited 4 or 5 years to have children. And, everybody was saying, are you going to get married? Are you going to have children? Yeah, no. But what happened, we got tired of the truth. We were traveling over the world. We're doing this, we're doing that. We said, I'm bored. If we don't do something different right now, we ain't going to make it.
Mm.
So then let's start having kids. Okay, cool. That's all a good idea. Right, right. But it's an incremental process.
Yeah.
Hey, as we're growing, as we're evolving, we should be able to communicate this how we're evolving. And because we should create code root communication. Oftentimes people get married with the false or come together with the false illusion that you're going to keep the person you met. Every moment, every day, there's a variable changing in life. I didn't always have gray hair. So therefore, we should always be consistently what I call Jay-Z moments, allow me to reintroduce myself moments.
Right.
So as I'm going through life, as I'm impacted by life and ideas are changing, mindsets are changing,
Yep.
I share those. So when I say, let's go to a swingers club, it's not a shock because it's been an evolving relationship, whatever. And hey, I'm intrigued about this. I was watching Netflix and they had the Love on the Spectrum or whatever sex shows they have. And I was interested. It sounds kind of interesting. Hey, you want to watch this with me? Hey, or if you want to say, hey, I'm thinking of maybe a third person. You don't just say, hey, I want a third person. We start talking about sex. We talk about exploring. You may even invite a doll in the room to be playing with, be playful, but then explore the do's and the don'ts, but be open to hearing each other as we share. But again, in that, being truly transparent, vulnerable, and open to hearing what you don't want to hear, but also be open to what you want to hear and what you don't want to hear, but understand the why that we can continue to walk together as one.
Yeah, and be willing to not judge what you hear if it's something that you don't want to hear. Like we're just going to have this open and raw conversation around it and just listen.
I think something it's important for me to say is, remember, people say, well, it's such a hard conversation. But you're an adult. Adults are the only ones built to have a hard conversation. We're the only ones with a frame of reference. Children don't have a frame of reference. So as an adult, we should learn to be comfortable in the hard conversations, because if not, how are we going to get what we want if we don't?
Exactly. Yeah. And, just as you're talking, I'm just thinking just strengthening that foundation alone can take your relationship and your sex life to a new level without even going to a strip club or bringing.
Exactly. Because the stronger it is, because now we're open and free and we're creating our own exploration. You can be caught up in intimacy where there are no rules. You're not worried about violating a rule because you're so free in the energy. The energy is directing.
Yeah.
So you don't, yes, they got toys, they have all of these things, but they're not necessary when that emotional connection is there and we recognize what we're here for and what this is about. And there's a truth to it. This
part of life, Todd, it's so important. And my mind just keeps going to people that I know that are probably listening and they're having sex like once a month, every other month. Some people are listening and probably going, I can't remember the last time we even had sex. Or they do it like once every Saturday morning, and this area of their life is just gone. I know people that have been married for years and they just don't anymore. And they're healthy individuals.
I have a couple, they haven't been sexual in 10 years.
Oh my God. It's like I always tell this, it's like the one thing that you do that like separates you from being just roommates and really best friends.
Exactly.
The one thing.
I said many years ago, the only difference between your partner and anyone else is the relationship you share in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference, because that creates a bond and a connection that you can't duplicate anywhere else.
Right. What would you say to those people that are listening that are going like, but how? What do I do? Like, I don't know how to get started, or I want to, but I don't think he does. Like, and I know this whole episode is going to help them. I feel like we already answered that question, but I know we probably have people sitting there listeking going, yeah, this is me. Melissa's probably talking about me right now.
Right. But my first thing would say, but honor your own truth enough to put a voice to it. Because the only way to be free and be wherever you want to be, you have to be honest with yourself and honest with your environment. Otherwise, it's not possible to be free. So number one, you have to articulate your care and concern and what you want, and not about what the other person isn't doing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking to explore deeper into intimacy and our emotional connection. And I would wonder if you can partner with me on that because it's not about what you're not. It's, hey, as life has grown, I'm looking for something different. I need to have a different experience. It's not the person, it's the construct of how we do what we do. Hey, we may be missionary every day, all day. Okay, nobody eats spaghetti. So let's try something else and let's go to toy stores. Let's watch things on TV. Let's do these things and create it. But in the midst of that, sharing how it's a win for the other person and how this fosters our relationship to secure our everlasting.
Yeah.
How it's a win for everyone, not anything about. And the sad thing is, I always have to share. Some clients have to share. Being intimate with someone is not anybody taking anything from you. It's actually something that you share in together.
Oh.
And too oftentimes people feel as though there's somebody pulling from me, taking from me.
Yep.
No, but actually, if you actually relax, they're actually pouring back into you. Yeah, you're feeding them, but they're also feeding you. It's a reciprocating energy.
Yeah. If you allow it.
Yes, exactly. Keyword, if you allow it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. If you allow it and accept it.
Exactly.
It's just such an important part. And these conversations are so crucial. And it just,
very much so.
you know, and I think a lot of people out there, like even just a lot of influencers, everything's an influencer now. And I think they haven't done the work and the journey and the healing in their own life to be able to have the conversation and be open about it and confident enough and secure enough to have the conversation. So like even people that are out there and have a voice, they're not saying anything.
Right. Think about this, like there was some research, even medical doctors, which I've trained through University of Michigan, there's research showing that only 25% of doctors are comfortable with their own sexuality. Therefore, they're not going to talk to you about yours. So you have women having hysterectomies and all the things, and they're not sharing that's going to impact their sex life.
Right.
Because now it's a new normal. They remove pieces and parts.
Yeah.
So now how you orgasm, all those things, people, they don't tell women after babies that once you have a watermelon come between your legs, you got to find a new normal and you're going to have to explore yourself differently sexually.
Right.
Because things shift and change. So if we're not getting it we get a very generic version in school. We don't talk about it. Doctors don't talk about it. If we don't talk about it, we're going to suffer. And that's a quality of life issue.
Mm-hmm.
Honor yourself, honor your own truth enough to care and love about yourself enough to say, hey, I'm hurting, I'm wanting, and you're my person and you're supposed to be my safe place. But then if they prove not to be a safe place, then that's a data point that you should collect and make choices and decisions as a result of it.
Yes.
Because whether you like it or not, everything we receive is data. It's not about whether you like it or not. All the data that we get is for us to receive so we can make the healthiest of choices. But if you only want to receive what you like, you're not counting the other 50% of the data. So how are you going to make an accurate choice or decision on your situation?
Right.
But if I look at the fullness of the relationship and I start weighing the data points and patterns, then it's easier for me to make the healthy choice and decision.
Yep. Todd, what's one tip that you would give men listening? Like men, you need to know this before we end this episode. And then what's one tip that you would give women? Like women, you need to know this before we wrap up.
Okay. The one thing I want men to know is women lack erotic focus.
Oh, good one.
Slow her brain down by being supported.
Erotic focus. I've never heard that term before. I love it. Okay. Got it.
And for women, men want to be wanted and desired just as much as you do, but they won't tell you. So you're going to have to show up by asserting your true feelings and emotions and passion towards that person. You'll see him surrender and yield a whole lot more. But when he has to ask you and beg you for care and attention, it's not a good look.
Nope. Oh, so good. Oh, like mic drop. Like boom, I just need to like drop something. It was so good. Todd, where can people find you, follow you, work with you? I mean, do you work with people from other states?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I work globally actually now with now that insurance companies allow you to do virtual sessions and so forth. You can reach me at toddmalloy.com. On there, you'll see all my Facebook, social media platforms. You can buy Toddism cards to help you find yourself intimately, personally.
Toddism cards?
Toddism cards. Right.
Oh my God, I love it.
They're out there to foster commerce communication on all layers, personal growth and development, relationships, sexuality, so forth, in conflict and adversity, where we stimulate to create conversations, but also do a deep dive within yourself.
Okay.
You know, ask yourself the 5 whys. 5 whys is root cause analysis that corporate America does. But if we can incorporate some of those 5 whys in ourselves and really understand the root cause of why we are who we are, the solutions are much easier to find.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll put everything in the show notes too.
All right. Thank you.
Todd, this conversation was so perfect. I can't thank you enough for coming on. You're a blessing to the show. This is great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity that you provided. So thank you so very much.
Yes, this is awesome. You guys run to the show notes, check them out, give them a follow, go to the website. Everything will be there for you. And in the meantime, listen to Todd, take his advice, play this episode again, and then send it to your partner.
Amen.
Send it to someone who else needs to hear this message.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy. Until next time. The Bomb Life podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The content shared here is not intended as medical, legal, or professional advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any health, fitness, financial, or legal decisions. The opinions shared on this podcast are personal experiences and insights. So if you need expert guidance, go find the right professional for you. Thanks for listening.
When I found out I was going to be a parent, I immediately felt a lot of anxiety and worry. So I went on to BetterHelp to try to look for a therapist to help me with that.
My relationship with my family and with my boyfriend and with myself were suffering. I really needed help.
I was ruminating a lot. Really getting those thoughts out to a therapist and getting feedback was just life-changing.
Discover what BetterHelp Online Therapy can do for you. Visit BetterHelp.com today.